What are the 4 ways to make money? You guys remember?
W-2?
Okay, what?
W-2.
Okay, we can go out, we can get, see if this market can be better. Okay, we can become a W-2 employee. Is there anything wrong with being a W-2 employee?
No.
No, what are some of the benefits of being a W-2 employee?
Regular income.
Okay, what?
There you go.
We got the paycheck every 2 weeks, right? Or weekly, however often we get paid. What are some other benefits of being a W-2 employee?
Health insurance.
Okay, we got the golden handcuffs of the health insurance. Any other advantages?
You typically know what you wear and what you're doing day to day.
Okay, we kind of know the hours we gotta be there. We got the health insurance. We got PTO. What are some disadvantages of being a W-2 employee?
Limited PTO.
Okay, limited PTO. What else?
Politics.
Okay, there's the politics that get involved. Anything else?
It's working for someone else.
Okay, working for somebody else.
Building someone else's dream. So along with that.
Okay, now we're building somebody else's dream. What are some other challenges?
Get laid off.
Okay, laid off.
Yeah, zero control over if that income's gonna be there tomorrow. Zero.
Okay, because it's kind of interesting. Where did you used to work? Angie?
Ancestry?
Ancestry. How long ago did they let you off?
January 23rd, 2023.
January 23, right? Here's one. When we look at it, how many people are like completely maxed out their income and you're like, I can't make any more income? How many of you guys would love to be able to make more income? Okay? But one of the, with all of the advantages that we have of being a W-2 employee, the hard part is there are disadvantages usually of we don't have enough paid time off.
There's two
We're
things.
limited
There's
in
two
the
right
income,
there.
we're limited in the things we do. The other thing
two
he
right
says
there.
down here
There's 2 right there.
is to become self-employed. Are there advantages to being self-employed?
Yes.
Yeah. What are some of the advantages of being self-employed?
Tax write-offs.
Okay. Tax write-offs, right? That's a huge one, right? We can set more hours, there's more flexibility. Then we look at it, he says we can come up here, we can also become a business owner. Are there advantages to being business owners? Yes, what are some of the advantages of being a business owner?
Do what you love.
Okay, we can do what we love. What else?
Be the boss.
Make it be the boss. What did you say? Any others?
Tax write-offs.
Okay, we got the tax write-offs. Then we look right here, and it's going to be the real estate investing. We know that wealthy have made their money or they hold their money in real estate. So here is a question for you. When you look at this, who usually has more fun in life? Those on the left-hand side or those on the right-hand side?
Right hand.
Right-hand side. Who usually makes more money? Those on the left-hand side or right-hand side?
Right hand.
Right-hand side. Who usually accomplishes more of their goals and dreams? Those on the left-hand side or those on the right-hand side? Right-hand side. So here is a hard question for you. What side would you like to be on? The left-hand side or the right-hand side? The right-hand side? If that's it, guys, this is exactly
Sit down. Okay.
what we help people do. We help people go from the left-hand side of the cash flow quadrant over here to the right-hand side. Now, when we look at it, there's many reasons why. One of the reasons that we look at is this. When we look at being a W-2 employee, who in here is just a W-2 employee and that's it? Okay, got a couple of you. Let's say as a W-2 employee, we go out, we make an income of $100,000. Okay? What is the first thing that comes out no matter what? Taxes. We know at this income level, it's going to be about $30,000. state tax, federal tax, food tax, gas tax, all the other taxes we're taxed with. 30,000. How much is now left over? 70. How many of you would agree that most Americans live paycheck to paycheck? So all of a sudden their expenses are $70,000. I mean, you guys know people like this, right? And now they're borrowing from Aunt Visa and Uncle MasterCard, right? To turn around and pay Discover, right? Turn around and make them mortgage payments. So what ends up happening when we look at this, there is nothing left over. How many of you guys filed your taxes yesterday? Or before yesterday? Okay. What did you write off on your taxes?
Tax bill?
Charitable donations.
Okay, charitable contributions,
Mortgage.
mortgage interest,
Like interest.
anything else?
Those are the big ones.
What did you guys write off?
Everything, home office.
Gas.
Okay, no, just W-2 employee.
Never mind.
W-2 employee. Most people used to write off their kids, but then the government came and limited it. You can only write off 3 kids, right? So the challenge is over here as a W-2 employee, it doesn't matter how much money we make, we are in the highest tax bracket because we literally have no tax write-offs. And this is where things started changing for me. I'm looking at this and I want to come over here to the right-hand side. And as I'm looking at come to the right-hand side, looking at this, I'm like, I'm getting screwed. I'm literally working from January, February, March, almost into April, just to pay my tax bill for the year. How many of you have looked back 5 years ago, 10 years ago, making less money than you're probably making now? You don't have to raise your hand, and you're like, this sucks, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Now you're making more money, and people still feel like they're what? Living paycheck to paycheck. And this is where things started tweaking for me, and I said, I can turn my goals and my dreams into a reality. And it was understanding coming over here as a business owner. Let's say I still have my W-2 job, I start a side hustle, okay? How many of you know someone right now that's driving Uber? Okay, Lyft, right? They're doing something on this side to bring in additional income. With their income, they're still making $100,000, W-2 job, little side hustle, everything else that's going on. But this is where it changes. And this is where my whole life changed. Is when I learned from my CPA how to take my personal expenses, car payments, cell phones, vacations. Last week was spring break for my boys. So we went down to St. George for a week, right? My boy in football, my boy in lacrosse, my boy in soccer, all of these things, I am paying for it. Can I write any of that off as a W-2 employee? No. But what I learned was this. As a business owner, can I write off my cell phone?
Yes.
As a business owner, can I write off my mileage?
Yes.
Can I write off car payments or one or the other?
Yes.
As a as a W-2 employee, can I write off vacations?
Yep.
As a W-2 employee? No. As a business owner, can I write off vacations?
Yes.
No. You convert them into business trips.
Yes. Well, that's.
Okay, so what I ended up doing last week when we were down in St. George, we were there, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go look at rental properties. I love short-term rentals, I got short-term rentals, Airbnbs. I'm like, well, I'm down there, I wanna rent the whole trip off. The mileage, the place we were staying at, food, the activities we were doing. So I said, hey, while I'm on vacation, I'm gonna go look at a couple properties. I have basically turned all of my personal expenses into what? Business expenses. If I run my own business, and I got a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 17-year-old, Can they do some of my social media? Can they do some of my ads that I post online? So can I pay my kids to do stuff in my business?
Sure.
Yes, just like your jobs are paying you guys to do stuff, instead of hiring adults, I hire my kids to do things. I can pay each one of my kids up to $15,000 a year. Now, I don't pay my 12-year-old that. But now, did football just become a tax write-off? Lacrosse just become a tax write-off? Soccer, basketball, taking basically all of our personal expenses, converting them into business expenses.
Can
Yes.
like a gym pass be written off?
I've known some CPAs that have, yes. Other CPAs don't, depends on what the purpose is. Also depends on if the doctor comes and says, hey, you need to lose weight, this is too high, that's too high. If there's doctor's notes, yes. Some people are able to turn around and do it. Just like dogs. My wife, when before COVID, my wife struggled with anxiety because I was traveling and stuff a lot, right? Before COVID, coast to coast, doing a bunch of stuff. And so when she found out that she could get a doctor's note for having anxiety and that a pet would help, she went out 2 weeks later and spent $3,500 on the pup. We got a doctor's note, rolled off the pup, rolled off the dog food, rolled off all the vets. We write everything off with him, right? So when we look at our personal expenses, 100,000 minus 70,000 is how much? 30,000. This becomes our AGI. Instead of it being 100,000, how much am I paying taxes on now? 30. Keep the tax percentage the same. 30%, 10,000. Now how much is left over? Oops. What could you do with an extra 20 grand a year? How many of you could pay off debt? How many of you could turn around, get your home paid off faster, student loans paid off faster? What if all of a sudden, when you guys think about goals and dreams you've had for years that you haven't been able to accomplish, how many of you, if you had an extra 20 grand sitting in your bank account, how many of you could turn some of those goals and dreams into reality? So the thing is, we usually make enough money to turn our goals and dreams into reality. The challenge is we're getting hosed. Because I don't know about you, but ever since I was a little boy, I have been lied to. I was told since I was a little boy, there's two tax systems. One for the wealthy and one for the what? Poor. That's a complete lie. Two tax systems, W-2 employees and business owners. So over here, as a W-2 employee with tax write-offs, most people will only take 3 to 5. As a business owner, and one of the businesses that I run also is real estate, investing in real estate, we have over 400 plus tax write-offs. Did I come up with the tax code? No. Who came up with the tax code? Congress. Is Congress the government? Is the government ever going to do anything to hurt themselves financially? No. So if the government came up with these rules, why not play by their rules? Does that make sense? I said, if I can play by these rules, I can start keeping more of the money that I make. I can have the retirement that I want to have. I mean, I didn't know you were being great. You were coming tonight, so I'm waiting today. Can I pick on you?
Sure.
Okay. So you were looking at this a year and a half ago. How long ago?
About 2 years ago.
Okay, 2 years ago in the community. You were over here saying, "I want to come over here, need to make more money for my husband, my kids, everything else."
Yes.
Is that right? You came in and said you want to start investing in real estate. In the last year and a half, 2 years, how many transactions have you done?
I have closed on 9 doors.
How many of those 9 doors have you used your money or your credit on?
I've used some of my money, but it's very minimal.
How much?
I would say like 5,000 at the most for all 9 doors.
The latest transaction you picked up, what is it?
Latest one, I didn't put anything down for the last one.
Okay,
I did.
where's it at? What type of transaction is it?
It is a flip. It's in Murray,
Okay,
and it was an off-market deal where I didn't need to have anything down.
okay.
And I closed up on that with a hard money and an equity partner.
So you went in, you put no money out of your pocket. Someone else gave you the money, a hard money lender, to do it. What was the purchase price on that home?
I paid $475.
Purchase price, $475. How much are you putting in rehab?
We are at 80,000.
Rehab, 80K. So you're into this home, how much is that? 555?
Yeah.
So purchase plus rehab, 555. How long have you had it for?
We just got it about like 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. After it's fixed up, how much will that after repair value be?
750 plus.
How many hours are you spending personally on this transaction?
I will probably drive by once a week for about 20 minutes.
Okay, how long will it take you start to finish?
We're looking at about 4 months.
Okay, here's what I'm going to look at by the time you have money costs, closing costs, all of that. I don't, because I've never seen this house. What's your expected net profit? I'm guessing around 120. Is that right?
Yeah, my number came out at 105.
Okay. Let's say 100 grand. How many of those would you have to do before you had a good year?
20 years.
Like 20 years? Guys, started working with a guy literally 2 weeks ago. He's single, he's divorced, 3 kids, all his kids are over 25, he's making 150 grand a year. Doesn't own a home. His net income, $6,200 a month. He's like, I'm working till July just to pay my tax bill. He starts seeing this, he's like, I would rather do this. Here's the best part. Because this is running a business, because of all of the expenses, she's going to pay very little in taxes on this money. Does that make sense? So when I looked at this, I'm like, hey, if I could do this, if I could do something like this, what would happen if I started putting this down on my home? One of the strategies that I looked at was this. If you could take a 30-year mortgage and have it paid off in 5 or 7 years without making any more money than you're making now, how many of you would want to do that? Using this one strategy, my wife and I on the home we're in now, we're going to save over $1 million in interest. Have it paid off 24 years early. Does that allow us to have more freedom? Yes. And I know you just, you and Mike, you guys just did a fix and flip. How much did you make on that fix and flip?
About 80,000.
How long did it take you? 4 months, 80 grand. So when we look at this, Candace, I'm gonna pick on you.
I want to clarify that I'm a full working W-2 person. I just took out a self-directed RRA, became equity partners in these deals. You can make 10K off of 30K in 3 months. Like, so that's all that I can do with my time. Like, I don't even do the flipping, but I'm equity partner. I'm the bank to these investors who know how to do that. So a lot of people get caught up in like, I don't have the extra money or time to do this type of real estate. But I am a real estate investor, you know, and now I can write off a whole bunch for my business.
But you have a full-time job.
I do.
And you get paid pretty well at your full-time job.
I have a full-time job and a full-time calling and a full-time family full-time everything, Rich.
And at the same time, and I'm not going to get into it, you told me how much you paid in taxes last year.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
the year before.
you don't want to.
You're getting screwed in taxes, is that right?
All the time. Cause of, I know we all are in the same bracket, these guys that I brought in. And I don't know if, did you save on taxes this year, you too? I don't know, I didn't ask them personally. But I'm like, I was tired of that. I wanted to make sure my money worked for me the way I wanted it to.
So you came down in November? November. She came down, first time I met Candace. Why did this interest you?
It was a way for me to have more freedom, so to speak. And be in control of my own money and how I want my money to work for me. You work so hard in your job, you basically put a lot of sweat equity in your day job and you're not getting rewarded for that. No matter how hard you work, you will never get out of the rat race. It doesn't matter. This made sense to me, that this was a way that I could have more freedom.
And so
Well,
looking at, yes, go ahead, Angie.
And you never know when you're gonna get that call, that little Zoom thing shows up on your
She
calendar.
was laid off.
Because she was laid off 2 years ago.
Probably gonna get in if you-
From your boss in HR, and you show up and there's the HR person in your boss, and you're like,
Yeah, right? So like, there's
The
these
backup plan.
types of transactions. Then this is a home, I just got under contract, bought it out in Kearns. Here's what's awesome. In the market today, purchase price, I just paid $285,000 for a home out in Kearns. Okay? In rehab, $40K. How much am I into this home? 325 G's. I got the funds at 6% for a year. So I'm paying very little of my money costs. Just put the home under contract for $385,000. I bought the home February 14th. It will close, I think it's May 8th. How long is that? Less than 90 days. I've been to the house twice. Net profit, we're going to end up making on this one is going to be around $40,000. I spent less than 5 hours out there. So, because I realized if I can do this, can I spend more time with my wife and kids? If I can do this, can I travel the world with my kids if I do 3, 4, 5 of these a year? If I can start saving money in taxes, does that allow me more flexibility to do the things I want to do? So as looking at all of this, right after August 24th, 2010, I had lost the home to foreclosure. $250,000 in debt at 22% interest. Could not go bankrupt, could not BK that debt out. 60 to 100 collection calls coming in every single day. I don't know about you, that sucks and that's depressing. Literally a couple times an hour, and the way I interpreted it was, you suck, you can't pay your bills, and we're calling to remind you every 15 minutes that you cannot pay your bills. When I saw this again, and I'm like, I need to do something like this. Call me crazy. When my wife and I got married, we got married because we wanted to be with each other, not be away from each other the whole time. We had kids because we wanted to be with our kids and do things with our kids. And I said, if I can do this, it frees up my time to be the husband, the father that I want to be. Why wouldn't I do it? If I can save money in taxes legally, why wouldn't I do it? Now going on the last 15 years, if I was a W-2 employee, I would have ended up paying about $2.5 to $3 million in taxes if I was a W-2 employee with what I made. I paid less than 150 grand in the last 15 years. I make a very significant 6-figure income. And it's literally changed everything for me. When I got started, January 2011, really getting into all of this, I said, I have no money. but I wanna go out and do this. If you guys could save money in credit, or save money in taxes, you could get out of debt a whole heck of a lot faster, make more money on the side, even if you have a W-2 job now. You could have a better retirement. How many of you would be interested in that? What's stopping you from doing it right now then?
When you first started, how long did it take for you to streamline a process where you're like contacting GCs and all of that to like make sure the projects are actually running on time?
Okay, great question. So I got started in January, okay? January 2011, January 2nd, 2011. And this is what we have, and I'm not going to go into all of this today. We just don't have enough time. What it is, can I ask you one place first before I go there? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Because you brought up a key thing. You're like, love to do it, but I don't know what I'm doing. Is that right? Knowledge.
much, yeah.
Okay. So if you had the knowledge and you knew how to streamline everything, would it be worth it?
Yes.
What else is stopping you from doing stuff like this?
Yourself.
Okay. What do you mean yourself?
Your mind process, the way you think of money.
Okay, I'm going to say, okay, so you said a couple
limit
things there.
yourself, yes.
Okay, I am going
Fear.
to say fear. You said another one, money, right? We don't have the money, guys. I was negative $7K a month living in my in-laws basement apartment, 350 square feet. Didn't have money. I was scared to death because I just lost home to foreclosure. What else would stop you guys from doing this?
Mine is relying on other people to do their part.
So,
That is my biggest.
so let me ask
Part of
you
fear.
this. Is there, you love control?
Probably, yes.
Okay. But because we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the process, we don't have the support, it's scaring you in doing it. Okay? So support is huge. What's another one? Something that's limiting all of you guys right now, because you gotta be gone in about 10 minutes.
Good job.
Time. Got a job. You kidding me? You want me to go to my job, be there, then come home and then leave my family again? That sucks, right? So here's what I realized. Caleb, can I pick on you for a second?
Yeah.
How long are you at your job for? A day?
9 hours a day?
9 hours a day. Is your boss here?
No.
Will you be honest?
Yes.
How many of those 9 hours a day are you actually working?
Seven hours a day.
But you're there 9 hours.
Right.
What are you doing the other 2 hours?
No lunch for an hour.
Someone must have just hit the button. What? So what are you doing the other 2 hours?
Laundry and lunch.
Laundry and lunch and what?
Just chores around the house, things like that.
So let me ask you this. You're there 9 hours, but you don't honestly work a full 9 hours.
Right.
Okay? So what if, this can go back to your question, what if you could be sitting at your job, at your desk, and somebody sent you some homes that met your criteria, and you knew how to do what I call a quick down dirty analysis in 5 to 7 minutes on that property?
Sure.
Could you do that while you were still at your job?
Yep.
But then you're at your job with time constraints because you're like, hey, I gotta go look at these 4 homes. You can't really do that in the middle of the day, is that right?
Right.
But you could call, let's say, Mike. Say, hey, Mike, I'm looking at 2 properties 5 minutes from your house. Could you go look at these properties? Here's the numbers, here's kind of what I'm thinking. Could you go look at those numbers? Mike's a general contractor. What do you think Mike's gonna say?
Sure.
Sure. So I'm sitting at my cubicle, somebody sends me properties, someone else while I'm still at my job, making a living for my family, somebody else goes and looks at the property. Then I got someone like Candace or other people that are like, I'm getting screwed in my retirement account. How many of you guys have any old 401ks, IRAs from previous jobs, companies, anything like that? And you aren't getting the rate of return that you want to have, and you want a lot better rate of return? What's crazy, all of you guys have money to invest in real estate, you just don't know where to get that money right now. Start doing what we call self-directing retirement accounts. So I can go use somebody else's money from HELOC, cash, savings, retirement accounts, or whatever. There's a bunch of ways to go get money. You don't have to use your money. Someone else is fixing it up. Then you're like, this is sweet. I'm going to talk to Angie because Angie's a realtor. Angie, on nights and weekends, she leaves her family to go sell your home. She sells your home, and at the end of the day, who makes the most money? You. And you did all of it sitting at your cubicle, sitting at home, working. 1-2 nights a week, maybe driving by the property. Go date night with the wife, date night with the kids, go do something, right? And at the end of the day, you get paychecks like this. Is it worth it?
Sure.
So I was like, if I could overcome all of these obstacles, for me, I was like, it would be worth it. So when I saw this December 2010, God started January 2011. At that time, we had 15 practitioner instructors, 25 classes. What is a practitioner instructor?
Someone who's doing it.
Isn't that like a novel or a novice concept, right? Why? We want to know why the college system's so messed up. How many people teaching business classes have ever run a business? Right? Why not go learn from individuals? When I started, we had 15 practitioner instructors making hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars a year in their respected fields, teaching me how to go out and learn their system, implement the things that they did. I'm like, I would love that. That was a little 14 years ago. Now fast forward, we have 40 practitioner instructors, and soon here in about 3 weeks, 95 classes teaching us different strategies based off our strengths, talents, abilities, resources, and weaknesses to figure out what strategy is best for me. Do I need to go get a ton of massive income right now? Or am I finding massive income and I need more passive income? I want to go do tax deeds, tax liens, notes, Airbnbs, foreclosure, wholesaling, lease options, whatever it is. All of these different strategies. So I started learning this system. I was drowning in debt. Debt collectors called me all the time. And my brother and I said, let's go do auctions. So I was living here in Utah. My brother was living in Southern California, Riverside County. We went out. The people that I was getting funds from, they knew I had lost a home. They knew I was drowning in debt. They knew everything. We literally went out and raised millions of dollars. Because in Riverside County, when you buy a home at the auction, if you pay $450,000, or let's say $475,000, that day you hand over $475,000 cash. Is that a little scary?
Yes.
Yes, this is what we learned. When you go, these are the sunglasses you should wear. Here's your clipboard. Here's how you hold the clipboard. Here's where you stand. Here is the whole process, step by step by step, doing it. We got started in January. March, we had our first property. Less than 60 days. Because we learned the step-by-step process, how to do everything. Then, because I had the knowledge, then what I realized I had to do, which is a mistake a lot of people make, they think the general contractor still works, that you still work for the general contractor, basically, right? It's not how it works. They work for you. So then we started training our people how we did our process. And so that's how we ended up doing it. Because in the beginning, I was the first one in Utah where I got the education with Renatus. That's the education company that I use, is Renatus. I was the first one in Utah. We didn't have a community, didn't have anything compared to what we have now. So we went out and we started creating that process. Does that kind of start answering that question? Because then what it is, We now have over 90 classes, on average 7 hours apiece. It's over 630 man hours of education. Now, have I watched all 630 hours? No. Will I ever? No. Because guess what? There's some strategies that just don't appeal to me at all. So I'm like, why not learn how to go out and do all of it? So I started looking at the $250,000 in debt. I had everything. That was January 1st, 2011. I would not recommend this. August 2011, I walked away from my job. I would not recommend that for most people. At my job, I hated it. I was making $3,000 a month. Walked away from my job in August 2017. 2017. Had all my debt paid for. Had enough passive income coming in every single month to pay my bills. So now going on, we're coming up on 8 years. I retired at the age of
Sorry, guys.
39. And for the last 8 years, whether I get out of bed or not, all of my bills are paid for every single month. That's the other thing I learned here. Does it take age to retire? No. Does it take a net worth to retire? No. What does it take?
Passive
Cash flow.
income.
That's what takes to retire. I mean, if you could go back 15 years ago, how many of you wish 15 years ago you could have bought 10 homes? You what?
I said I was playing on the playground.
Okay, you're like, well, bring it. Well, you should have told your parents to get busy then, right? Like, mom and dad, go buy homes. What's the average home price right now in Salt Lake City on the Wasatch Front? Medium home price.
7,600. I see.
She's a realtor.
560, about 560,000 is the medium home price. Do you know what they are expecting the medium home price to be on the Wasatch Front in the year 2030?
Oh gosh, in a million.
1,030,000
Those little tiny homes.
is what they're expecting the medium home price to be here on the Wasatch Front. So if we wish we would have done that 15 years ago, we know it's coming again, and then we'll end on this. 5 years ago, what happened? COVID. 4 years ago, what happened? The Biden administration came in and said, we realize some of you guys are losing your jobs. Because of all of this, guess what? You cannot foreclose on people. We will not let people lose their homes to foreclosure during COVID. 9 months ago, that was lifted. Foreclosures are starting all over. Between Ogden, Payson, Park City, Tooele, on average, each month, 600 families are going into pre-foreclosure a month. They're expecting this in the next year to be $1,000 a month. Or sorry, 1,000 families a month going in to foreclosure. So if we wish 15 years ago we could have bought 10 homes, guess what? It's happening again right now. One of our guys literally got started with what we call our wholesale games. Got started on that 2 weeks ago. First time in our wholesale games. Picked up a property lives here in Utah. Picked up a property in Florida. $2,000 down. They're going to carry financing for 25 years at a 2.5% interest rate. That student's going to cash flow that home over $1,000 a month. How many of you be like, I'd love to do that? Then we got our not fix and flip challenge, first flip challenge. First flip challenge that he has been in and others have been in. I want to get into a transaction in the next 90 days. How many would like to be in the transaction in the next 90 days? Because guys, the people need our help. 5 years from now, it could be like, yes, we could be in the same situation or we could be different. If you guys want to learn more about this system, there's a couple things that we have. So I'm gonna go from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Tomorrow night in Centerville, okay? We're gonna be walking people through how to overcome every one of these obstacles. How to get in, how to do it, how the challenges work, how all of that works. Also bringing in an individual, started about 10 years ago with us. He now makes about $100,000 a month money lending. He's gonna be walking through how to get funds, how to do that. Next Tuesday, we're gonna be walking through, might even talk to Mahia, can we do your property next Tuesday? In Murray?
Yeah.
So, next Tuesday, the 22nd, if that's okay, we'll be walking through her property, so you guys can come and see, instead of just talking about it, we're doing it. On the 29th of this month, upstairs, my buddy who's done short-term rentals, spent $3,000 out of his pocket to pick up his first short-term rental, his last 5.5 years, grossed $1.3 million, netted over $400,000, so about $80,000 a year, passive income, working 5 hours a week, helping people how to start understanding and learning that process. So if you guys look, say I want to go from here to here, this is what I would do. Just get back with Candace or whoever invited you here and say, you know what, I want to learn how to do this. They can get you registered for some of those events. And if there's any questions I can answer for you, I'd love to do that. But I want to make sure you guys don't get fired if you're late for your meeting. Was today helpful at all?
Yeah.
Is it better than you thought it was going to be? That was a little hesitant there. Caleb, was it better?
It was good.
Nothing good? Hey, seriously, it will absolutely, what I would do, get back with Candace, get to one of the other events, see the community, see how it works, and literally see how you guys can do it, save a ton of money in taxes. So if you guys need to leave, I don't want to get you in trouble. If you need to leave, go ahead and take off. Yes, question?
Do you guys do like investing on new construction?
Yes.
Things? Okay, because I'm like, I don't know about the flipping, but I would be interested in ones where you don't have to do rehab.
Yeah, so that's the nice thing, whether it's buying and selling, wholesaling, auction, land development, spec homes, all of that stuff, we have people doing all of those different strategies. So one of my guys, his dad was a builder, he went through, over the course of the years, his dad built a ton of stuff. He went out, he built, I want to say it was 42 spec homes. Average $55,000 per spec home. And then just built a $15 million apartment complex up in Northern Utah. So it's every different aspect of strategies to go out and do it, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I'm just going
So,
to